Evening, guys. I suppose it probably could be considered like a damn log or something else to say, but I needed to get this off my chest. When I look at the material, so damn easy to talk about sometimes, you think, but it isn't. I've been coming across a lot of indications these days. Things they're supposed to be, and then they show up not to be. I've been, my mind's been racing a lot, and not just because of the geopolitics or the fear, but fooling what I'm supposed to be in the first place. I was trying to make sense out of another audio log. It's uh, it's something when you can actually do something on these. Put a voice recorder on there and get your thoughts down there. Transfer it into their place and you lose your thoughts. But not really trying to get clarification on the thoughts. Dreams and goals. I guess what I'm trying to get to. Dreams and goals. For a long while when I was a kid growing up, I grew up in the world of literature. You have adventures going through your head. You'd read the adventures. You'd wanted to do something about the adventures. You wanted to be part of them somehow. And me growing up as a kid, reading so much books, literature, comic books, it made me envious and full of admiration for those writers who can craft the words carefully in order to describe a situation, a person, an event, putting them through so much paces, levels of expectation and of conflict and growth through the conflict. So maybe they plateau to a point in understanding, and it has to be more sacrifice before more growth can be done. And then at the end of the stories, your hero of whatever sort learns a lesson or learns something or something discovered out of it that right, the reader actually comes across a better person. And those forms are discussed by Aristotle a long time ago. And we've following their formats ever since. The hero has to perform a hell of a lot to grow and aspire. But I'm reading those things as adventures and not even understanding the format. I should have a long time ago, but I didn't. And if I had, maybe I would have understood a hell of a lot more about myself. Because I wanted to be one of those guys. I wanted to write like crazy. I wanted to have people understand what was going on inside of me, but I wanted to understand what was going on inside of me. And in writing all those essays growing up as a kid, I just kept trying to get to the meat and potatoes in some of those items, and they're not exactly the easiest because they wanted you to think logically along a certain academic route, and it was hard as hell. Because somehow you wanted to put a twist on there, and they didn't like the damn twist, and when you tried to do your own damn stories, people still got pissed off about it. I know they didn't mean it a lot of times. I put myself in a different tense instead of putting myself as me, me. I think I talked about this in other videos about it. I know my voice is a little low right now because I don't want anybody else outside to hear. The neighbors are still out and about. They're vampires, I think. Can't stand the daylight. They come out at night to bug people. And the thing is, these writers out there, there's writers out there struggling like crazy. Some of them think about fame and fortune and glory. I did when I was growing up as a kid. But I also wanted to seek and write adventures and then revel in them. The only thing is, I never had anybody sponsoring me. I never had anybody encouraging me, not even the teachers. I didn't have any conferences with anybody like that. Who did? Nobody gave a hoot. My mother wanted me to do best in school. School wanted you to get in and out. They wanted you to learn by rote. If you were going to college, you had to learn a certain way to write. Collegiate. Academic. Sterile. Just the facts, just the facts. Hardly ever classes concerning about creative writing. If you did, they were almost hardly ever there. I know because I tried searching them out. I wanted to do it, but I never could get myself into it. And if I did, poetry. Well, I never did like poetry much. Rhyming words, rhyming phrases, stanzas wasn't me. No. I saw the stuff in my head at this point over here. I pick up a book and I already see the adventure and the heroes playing it out like crazy. And I kept thinking to myself, I could do something like this. I know I could do something like that. And something inside of me told me that. And it's bad enough when I had other people probably either jealous or sick and tired of seeing my own writing. And it pissed me off that I had to dump a lot of that stuff too. Just did, heartbroken. But growing up as a teenager to an adult, and you're still doing creative work, so for one way or another, and it pissed people off. It pissed people off because they couldn't understand what was going on or being presented. I thought it was pure childish. I just started a story and then rambled on through it one time and never could quite finish one particular episode. But it would have been something. It took me a long while to figure it out. It took me another long while to figure out more. How to get a story, how to do middle of a story, and then how to end the story. And somewhere in there, the hero is supposed to go through a few conflicts left and right. But I remembered something like that in the English classes that I took decades ago about it. And I was introduced to Aristotle concerning about writing. Somehow or another, I wanted that. I wanted to do that for the rest of my life. Just write stories for a living. One particular saga that kept playing through my damn head. I wanted it out so damn bad. I was too damn afraid and too damn embarrassed of my family looking at it and judging me differently. My main support, and they would probably look at me as being the dumbest damn kid ever. And that was going through my head. If I had known that, if I had shown any of talent, anything like that, I think my family would have been proud. I think Ma and Dave would have been. Ma's deathbed. I had a feeling my character was waiting there to talk to her, explain things to her. They're waiting for her. I hope she had forgiven me. I had written a series, and I still haven't, and I still need to work on it. It's been a while. continued anyway. Call it an opus. But it's something special to me. I never know, didn't want anybody else to know about the damn thing until they actually saw it published. Because I was always afraid of people stealing the damn thing. Still am. That's why I never showed it to hardly anybody else that I trusted or not trusted. One guy said he was going to look at it, screw the whole damn thing up. Just one section of a story I wanted to check out. See if I was heading in the right direction. He rewrites the whole fucking thing in several months. Oh, I looked at his rewrite. I still kept the damn thing. It's not his story. It's my story. I mean, I saw the ending of it. I didn't see all the damn thing. I just saw the ending of it and just got convinced. No, no, no. I said earlier on about the damn thing. I know he wanted to be a writer, but shit, come on. Don't rewrite someone else's work like that. Come on, you just don't. Critique is one thing if you're looking for something. But if you're going to critique your own damn work. If you think there's something wrong with it, you change the damn thing. You don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Unless, of course, you're trying to get the damn thing published through a publishing company, and then you listen to what they're saying, and then you have to make the judgment whether or not you're going to listen to them and follow their suggestions for you to get published through them, or you just say, fuck it, I'm doing it my way. I mean, I could publish through, I'll make it published through somewhere else. Try to find a way to do self-publishing. Take your chances. But, a little critique is alright if you're trying to find a direction or something like that. Your trusted friend, or trusted person, actually. He'll go look at the stuff and know you, and maybe make some valid arguments and where the writing should be and so it should not be. I couldn't tell a friend of mine who gave me a copy of his work, part of it anyway. I couldn't get into it because I really did not want to get into a pissing match about it. But I'd listen to his story ideas, where he was going, and I'd give him suggestions. I really didn't want to go through the damn work because I know I was doing the same damn thing somebody else did to me. Rewrite the damn thing. I had it done once to me already. I didn't want to make that mistake with somebody else. But they did entrust me with part of it anyway. But it's up to the writer to decide whether or not the writer has an idea where he wants the story, or she does. And then they do it. Regardless of what anybody else says. They follow their guts, they follow their instincts, they follow what the character tells them where the story's going. They listen to the characters. The characters tell the story. The characters that get you involved show you and tell you how things are going. See, for some people, it's easy enough to do the third person a lot. They call it the narrative. But I hate it when they call it the narrative. They call it the fly on the wall. I like that one better. But I prefer the first person myself when it's autobiographical because now you're in the eyesight. You're in the head of the character. You're seeing and going through what they're going through. Some people I've heard complain this is the hardest damn thing because you have to get into the head of the character. It's like, no, no, it's easy because you're the character. You're the character. You got to go. You have to tear apart yourself. You go through your sixth and seventh senses if you have them. But you describe what's going on, exactly what's happening, how you're feeling, physically, emotionally. What are your thought processes? It may be the hardest damn thing for people to go through, but it's more involved because you're getting yourself involved in the situation. I mean, people like the third because they can do all sorts of stuff outside the wall that the characters are not seeing. But for me, I'm looking through the character and I'm seeing it action happen just as I'm living through life in the first person itself. And when I'm writing in this way, sometimes I switch to from first to third person inside the story. If I'm going to be a narrator, I narrate the story. But if I'm going to be getting involved in the story, I get involved in the story. Flip flopped it. It may throw the reader off, but people they say, well, it's not according to the rules of writing. Well, show me the rules of writing, because there are no rules in writing. You just write. A writer writes. I've been told that a long time ago. I believe in it. You're going to write the damn story. Write the damn story. Write the damn article. Write the damn essay. Get your fingers pumping. Get your ideas going. Put it on a damn piece of paper. Scribble like a son of a bitch on a damn thing. Doesn't matter if it's going to be legible enough. You get that damn thing down there. You wake up in the middle of the night. You gotta have a notebook with you and a pen or paper. Even a piece of toilet paper works. You believe some people actually wrote stories on toilet paper? Prisoners did that. Some of them actually got published. People in prison. I'm out writing stories and character sketches on napkins left and right. And you end up like Harry Potter, J.K. Dowling, poor as hell, and yet she creates an empire. She creates an empire world of Harry Potter, and in that world becomes a reality. More ways than one. Stranger things have happened. George Lucas types out a script. He had a story in mind. Redraft until he gets the Star Wars that we all know. Gene Roddenberry, him in Star Trek. He had been in World War II. He had been a cop. He had been a scriptwriter. And he sold it. But he kept creating it. He kept having to create a license for it. But he made an empire. He made his franchise alive, where fans still exist, worshiping it like crazy. I know I'm one of those guys. He gave us a hell of a lot of hope, a lot of creativity, a lot of spark, a lot of fandoms growing up around the damn thing. Their own little empires. And that's the thing about writing. You never know where the hell it's going to take you yet. You don't know if your story sucks or not. Only you do. But to you, if the story is still sound, if the material is still sound, then yeah, you have to take the chance. You have to take the leap. I have to remind myself of that. I have done a lot of academia writing. I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, I've been taking English classes left and right for the past 5 years. I took a few English classes when I was going to college 30, almost 40 years ago. Just about. Kicked myself in the ass because I couldn't get myself motivated enough to get through the damn college system back then. But I had to write. I had to write facts. I had to write figures. There was no creativity. I didn't like it. There should have been a time when I was going to be picking up a pen and writing stuff. And when I did join sci-fi clubs, I had one particular club that was going to lobotomize me and my character. I should have taken it as a damn compliment right there instead of being pissed off and throwing the damn stuff away. I walked away from it. It was a dumbass mistake I'd made a long time ago. But I still retained it in here. Elements of it keep showing up in different stories I write. different stories that matter a damn to me. When I started taking college courses, as in a history course, my stomach, sorry, it's midnight, my stomach decides it wants to go crazy on me. Why am I not surprised? There was a history professor I had. Threw him off. I threw him off, and I wasn't quite sure if the material was right or not. I mean, I had other professors I tried to write for. There was an English professor, a doctor of English. We had an argument concerning about what she wanted and what I wanted and what I was seeing for an interpretation, analysis of Robot versus Frankenstein. There was an argument concerning about what she was choosing as original material, and then I'm thinking, go back to the damn original material regarding Frankenstein. She flunked my ass, or damn near, because I wasn't thinking critically enough concerning about literature. I didn't have the money for the literature. I just, if the information was available online, I'd use information online to try to complete the course as best as I could. But I'm looking at the stuff and I'm looking at it one way and she's looking at it a different way. I'm thinking, this is not good. This is not good for me because I can't even interpret this information that she's giving me here. And then she gives the stories concerning about robots. I'm like, yay, robots. I can get into that damn thing. I read about robots growing up as a kid. And then Frankenstein, I'm thinking, oh, terrific. Now we're talking about program, 12 step. We create our own damn monsters and we look at ourselves in the mirror and are we the damn mad scientist or are we the creation today? It's, oh, it's a bit of a mindset that we have. Actually, I had. You look at yourself either as the madcap creator or you're looking at yourself as the creation looking for support from the creator. Hell of a way to look at humanity, I'll tell you that much. But the arguments I had with the English professor was shit. The thing of it is, I had to pursue what I knew. I had to pursue in the way that I thought I knew better than the professor. Pissed her off. But other professors are like that. But then some of the professors are a little bit more looser when it comes down for the essay to see which particular style and tact people are going to do. And I decided one particular history professor, once I finally got a handle on his personality, I'm thinking I'm going to throw this guy a curveball. If I'm going to get this thing flunked, screw it. I'll just retake the damn class all over again. So I wrote an essay. He wanted information concerning about a certain period of colonial expansion or something like that, and or a perspective concerning about history. I did. I put it in a story format. I put it into a format I knew I can use and how to communicate that effectively. How do you look at history? This is a question to you. How do you people look at history? Is it dry as toast? Or is it as flavorful as French toast? Is it plain as noodles? Or is it spaghetti? I know I'm using food, but what the hell? It's a way of looking at things in an interpretation. How are you interpreting history? And how do you create the essay and literature in order to communicate what you learned? The students were okay. We'll use something. There's a movie. past 5 years. Steven Spielberg made this one. Wonderful movie. Ready Player One, based off of a book. The writer still working on a sequel on that one. I want to get both books. I want to read them. I got the movie, saw it finally, enjoyed it. It took me a while after several watchings to understand it more and more. You think it's simple? It wasn't. I'm dealing with neighbors. Anyway, Ready Player One was dealing with a time where everyone was in a virtual world. But this one guy, this one man who was so hip on pop culture that he grew up on every part of it, and he was expressing that to people. It was shown in a different light, and no wonder it was so enjoyable because I understood everything because I was part of that light. It's almost the same thing for me trying to write an essay in a format where the professor didn't realize it. I look at history as stories. Stories. We have told stories to each other for millenniums. How to interpret history is how we're interpreting it in our own viewpoint. We do it by rote, or we throw a little creative flair into the damn story. When you're sitting at a campfire and you're listening to stories, how is the story being presented? How is the presenter demonstrating the story in a fashion? My essay to the professor of history was a story and different characters' points of views. Actually, I got an A out of the damn thing too because I had to put it into a format where the professor could understand it, but also the reader. I could bring him along, and it worked. There were elements of the damn thing that actually worked. I impressed the professor so much he gave it an A, and he wanted me to publish the damn thing. I probably would have to PDF, probably would find a PDF and just put it out there and just see what happens. Save it as such. But other professors don't like that. Other professors want it dry and rote. They want dry toast. So, when I get an English professor and I want to write it in a creative fashion and not in some kind of analytical, I do analytical, but I do it creatively. I take a hell of a lot of creative license because in order to get to the reader, you have to present the information in a format and a fashion that they can understand, but also the writer is trying to communicate in a fashion and a form that hopefully they're able to communicate it effectively to the reader. I know I'm screwing things up a little bit in the words, but you know what I'm getting at. Now, your pieces of bread there, did you want them toasted or did you want them in French toast style? How did you want your cuisine? How did you want your story? How did you want your presentation to be looked at, appreciated, devoured? Writers have to think about that one sometimes. That's what I've done. That's what I've done. And a lot of people are probably thinking, well, he's after this or he's after that. No, I am just saying, for me personally, this is how I'm doing it. I'm not puffing out the chest, I'm just explaining. I'm trying to put it in simple terms so people can try understanding. This may be a racer mate. Ivan packs like crazy. For a lot of people, they're just note takers. Old fashioned as hell. Put them into the hands of a writer. Put them in the hands of a dreamer. Put them into the hands of an illustrator of sorts, an illustrator of the literary kind. And they will take you on a journey far grander than Alice in Wonderland would ever present to you. Lewis Carroll can only go so far with his madness. Poe can only drag you so far into his insanity. Melville will be able to confuse the living crap out of you with his negative response to transcendentalism in response to Ralph Emerson Whitman, yeah, or David Thoreau. Put this pen in the hands of a beginner, and they will try to write something. They will make mistakes. They will make mistakes. And to think of it as a writer learns from his mistakes, his or her, they will know and trust this more and more because this device, I have to put it into a backdrop that you can actually look at here. This device here, a doorway, a gateway, a key, a pathway, a journey, expedition, adventure, an explanation, connotation and denotation. A slip, a fall, a crash and burn, a warp speed sled, a laser mounted focused item. Something of this nature is more powerful than anything else because it's coming from the head, it's coming from the heart, it's coming from the soul. I was watching recently on YouTube. I had seen these episodes many times of MASH. Character Major Charles Emerson Winchester, the Third, played by David Ogden Stier, God rest his soul. Talented person. His character was helping a few people out, and there was one guy who was a soldier that lost use of his right hand, and he was a musician. He played the piano. And because the war took something away from him, he was feeling sorry for himself, but somehow he was able to communicate to Charles that he was a pianist and appreciated music, but he was angry. Angry at the world, angry at himself, angry at probably God for taking away his gift. And Charles had to remind him that his gift was already there, it wasn't in the hands. And for a writer, that's true. The gift is not in the hands. You're already instilled with the gift. All you have to do is bring the damn thing out. That's all you got to do. You have the ideas budging, bursting inside of you. Sometimes the characters sleep, and other times they're ready to scream at you at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to grab your pen and paper, start writing like a son of a bitch. Small notebook, large notebook, doesn't matter what. Hell, go to a computer and just do your magic. Get a tape recorder. Do an audio recording on it. Whatever it takes, get that damn thing out. Put it out there. Leave it alone for a short time. Let your brain percolate on the idea. And then come back to it a little bit later and then begin the work. Afterwards, you're able to see more and more clarity and more detail until finally the work is there. Sculptors don't have a roadmap. They look at a stone, they already see the stone. They already see the picture in there. There was a quotation somewhere by someone saying that, you know, they looked at the stone and already see the work there. All they got to do is chip away the pieces, chip away all the excess, and they'll have their sculpture right there. They'll have their work of art. All they got to do is chip away at it. And the same thing applies for all of our creative endeavors. That includes writing. Find your passion. Make it work for you. Make it work to where people can appreciate it, but more importantly, you appreciate it. Almost easy enough to get stuff hawked, but not appreciated. Hard as hell trying to get your fame out there. All right, but the question is for me, and I'm probably asking this of you too. Are you chasing fame or are you chasing your passion? Are you chasing your ego or are you chasing creativity? What's more important? Think about that one. Then drop a comment. And you're right, I hadn't said anything concerning about the day and date on this one. This one just hit me hard because it's turned from Friday night to Saturday morning. Too damn early for the best of us and too damn late for the rest of us. But after getting exposure like that, of seeing some things to remind me of who and what I am. Who am I? I'm a writer. I'm an author. I just haven't got published yet. But I've written, and I still write. I have homework, and I have stories. And in each of the homework and each of the stories, adventures to be told, adventures to be interpreted, analyzed. Some people do it mechanically and clinically and dryly. Antiseptic, sterilized. Otherwise, you have something else in mind. For that, I'll leave that little cheerful thought for you. Because this guy is crawling back to bed.